Hi guys, today I am so excited to reveal and represent Makartt's new disco collection. So quickly, let me explain what I mean by represent the collection. I did not create or design this collection, but when they showed it to me, I loved it so much. It was just a perfect combination of everything I love with the glitter, the reflectiveness, the rainbows, everything. I just loved it so much. So essentially, Makartt is sponsoring me to represent this collection, which I am so happy and really thankful for them to do because I loved it as soon as I saw it, and I know you guys will too. This collection has polygels, acrylics, and gels, so it's an amazing array of different products, and I had so much fun shooting the campaign for this and doing the nails that you guys will see in just a moment. We're going to dive right into all of the swatches and the nails in just a second, but I do want to thank Makartt for doing this with me. It was really fun to do the photo shoot, and I'm going to show some of the behind the scenes towards the end for those of you that want to see it. This is a pretty big collection with 7 acrylics, 12 polygels, and 8 gel polishes. Hi, so you guys know it's usually probably not good if I pop in here. The gel polishes sold out. Definitely did not anticipate on that happening because it's only been 4 hours and this video is only going up 12 hours after they launched. So I apologize. The restock for the gels should happen later in June, so just keep an eye out for that. I will also make sure I mention it in a video somewhere down the line when I know an exact date. So sorry about that. Appropriately named the Disco Collection because every single one of these products is reflective. If you've never seen a reflective nail product, essentially think of a reflective vest. When you put a flash on it, it's going to reflect back and just be really cool looking, and that's the base of what these products are. And there is also a ton of different rainbow shades, so you're pretty much covered on all bases. Everything in this collection will be sold individually, so if you only want to pick up one shade of the gels and one shade of the acrylics, you can do so. But of course, if you want every single shade, there are going to be discounted value kits. And also, as always, you can use my code emilysusanah for 15% off all Makartt products on any of their websites. Okay, I've already been rambling on for way too long. Let's get into the swatches and let me show you everything. Let's start out with the 12 polygel shades. So it's no secret that the pink in almost every collection ever will always be my favorite. So I'm going to tell you guys my favorite shades along the way, excluding the pinks. But the pinks are gorgeous, of course. As far as the polygel goes, I think that my favorite shade is this one. It's Ibiza. I'm going to use my Makartt Emily Susanna brush today. Shout out to you if you have one of these. I just think that this blue is so pretty. I'm going to put this into Cure. So one of my favorite things that I have not mentioned about this polygel is that they are kind of jelly looking. So they aren't 100% opaque because otherwise you wouldn't really be able to see any of the reflectiveness or glitter throughout, and they would just kind of see it on the top layer. So these have some translucency to them, so they are really pretty, and you can build it up to be more full coverage, or you can do a thinner layer and have it look like jelly. So I'll show you what I mean by using this nightclub shade. This is a black shade. So here's how it looks with a thinner layer. You can see my hand underneath. You can see other colors through it, but here's how it looks with a thicker layer. So not nearly as translucent and a bit more opaque, so you can really build it up or keep it jelly and translucent. Personally, I like the jelly look, but you know, whatever you like. And here are the swatches for all 12 polygels. Again, here's that little bit of translucency through them. Of course, these look pretty as is, but all of my studio lights don't really show the type of reflection that they have. So I'm going to insert clips from my phone with the flash on so you can really get the full experience for how the reflection looks. Now let's dig into the acrylics. Out of the 7 acrylics, Elevation is probably my favorite. It's this really deep, beautiful blue, and to me it looks like how I would imagine the really dark, scary part of the ocean would look. And unlike the polygels, these ones are fully opaque, tons of pigment, can't see through them at all. This is all 7 of the acrylics. These are a bit more muted in tone. Last but not least, let's move on to the gels. My favorite of the gels is Lime Jelly. Of course, if it's not pink, it's green. But these gels are the brightest colors of the collection, more, you know, like true rainbow. These swatches all have 2 coats and a top coat, so you can really see how they would look if you were to actually put them on your nail. Now that we've gotten all the swatches out of the way, let's actually do some nails. So for these nails, I'm going to do a similar version of these ones. These I did for the photo shoot for this campaign, as well as I wore them to my meet and greet. I'll pop in what the other hand used to be. It was a sort of like complimentary set to this other hand. I wanted to do 2 different sets for the shoot, but it was done with this collection, of course. But I just took it off and my nails are crusty dusty as usual. Believe it or not, I'd been wearing these sets for about 2 weeks now. I'm gonna try to keep this hand on and just see how long I can wear it. And even though I'm gonna have to use my opposite hand today, this was my favorite of the 2 sets. So let's just get into it. I did use polygel for this other hand, so I think I'm mainly going to use the acrylic as the base this time. I'm gonna do a little bit of prep on my nails now. We'll pop on a little bit of dehydrator and a little bit of primer. This dehydrator smells like watermelon, by the way. This will help everything stay put like it should. Okay, I'm grabbing out the 5 colors I'm gonna use, and we're gonna be using something else new today. Makartt came out with some extra long square tips, so we're gonna use these. They do run a bit big, so I'm just gonna grab my sizes out. I feel like you guys could almost track the size I use for my nails at this point. I usually use a 7 for my pointer, and this is an 8, and I would say it's almost a little bit too big. So these do definitely run big if you have really tiny fingers, but also that's good if you have some bigger nail beds. I feel like bigger nail tips are harder to find than smaller nail tips. And then super quickly, I'm just going to shape them to match my nail bed a little bit better because these are pretty square and my nail beds are a little bit rounder. I'm gonna do the method today where we use the acrylic to help the tip bond to our nail and have it also be the color. So when you do this, I recommend putting some primer on the inside of the tip, because sometimes if you don't, it can just be too smooth of a surface on another smooth surface and it can just pop right off. So the primer helps with that a lot. It sort of makes it like sticky and ready to grab onto things, if that makes sense. I think I want to do this blue for the thumb. What I like to do is do this top part first. Because this acrylic does have a ton of like the glitters and the reflex and the pigment, it does set a bit quickly, which you guys know I personally like. And it's kind of hard to make it runny in my opinion. However, with the polygel, something I did want to mention is I think it might be like the reflect in it or something like that. The polygels are a little bit stickier in my opinion. Sometimes when a polygel is really sticky, I like to use a base coat as the slip solution. So basically just whatever you have on your brush to help it smooth out. And for me, it almost was like stickier with using a base coat as the slip, and rubbing alcohol worked really well for me instead. So if you do normally use a base, you can still do that, but just know it is a little bit stickier. Not much, but if that's an absolute deal breaker for you, then I want you to know. So I'm just filling up this entire tip with the color and then putting some at the bottom. That is basically how it should look. And then to adhere this to your nail, you're really just going to set it on there, push down in place, and then just hold down a little bit. You don't want a ton of force because you don't want a bunch to squeeze out, and you don't want it too tight on your nail either. Once that's on there, you can sort of clean up anything if need be. And then if any squished in the back, you can also just like flatten that out really quick. You shouldn't need to hold it for a super long time, but just, you know, when you stop holding it, make sure to not whack it on anything for a couple minutes. And voila, you can leave it like this if you want, but I would still recommend probably putting a top coat on it since these are plastic and plastic can scratch a little easily. You want to protect that. Oh my gosh, while we're doing this, I want to talk about my meet and greet. If you didn't know, I had a meet and greet at an event that Makartt threw in Florida. I also did the photo shoot for this in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. And the meet and greet went so well. I was really nervous because that was the first time I've ever done any like public appearance, and I thought that no one was gonna show up, but a good amount of people did show up, and it just honestly felt like meeting a bunch of friends. It was really, really fun. I got to meet so many of you and see all of your nails, and it was just really, really great. I'm really thankful I got to do that. It's not every day you get to go to like a different place you don't live and, you know, just like meet people that like know you. I feel like it was also really special because I feel like a lot of the people that I like sort of just DM with back and forth, I talked to a lot of people like Instagram DMs. I felt like I got to meet a lot of you there that I talk to regularly, which was really cool. And I'm just gonna hold this down for a minute. You have to hold it down maybe like a minute or two, so not much longer than it would take to cure something, but it just feels so much longer. And there's that one. I'm just gonna repeat the process for the next 3 nails, and then we can move on to the nail art. Sorry, this side of my hair just doesn't want to stay curled. This side, bomb. This side just wants to be flat. I've already recurled it like 3 times in this video, so I'm just gonna leave it as is at this point. It was also really nice getting to meet some fellow content creators, Steven and Natalie. They were both super nice, and we went shopping. It was so much fun. It was a really, really great trip. Also, I just have to say the food in Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, I know people there probably are like, there's a distinct difference, but close enough. The food just in that area was amazing. Literally every single thing I ate from anywhere was amazing. And I feel like I'm not super easily impressed with a lot of like vegetarian food, just because a lot of it does end up tasting kind of similar. But we went to one place, what was it called, YOLO, and they had vegetarian ceviche, which I've literally never seen on a menu before in my life. And it was crazy tasting. Not in a bad way. It was good, but it was just like something I've literally never tasted before ever, which I really appreciate. I've been a vegetarian for like, honestly, I'm really bad with time. 12, 13, 14 years at this point. At least 13 sounds about right. And here we are. I've been really starting to like this method. I've been doing my acrylic a little bit thicker on the underside, and that has stopped them from breaking, because the first time I ever tried this, I did like a really thin layer of acrylic and they broke really quickly, but I've been doing a thicker layer and it's been holding really, really well. So obviously these don't really need to be filed. The nice thing with full cover tips, it's already smooth, but I am going to clean up the edges, and then you can also clean up the cuticle a little bit if you want. I am going to, and then we can do some nail art. I've been thinking this whole time, and I am going to do it on a similar vibe as this, but I might do something a little bit different since these ones are a little bit brighter and these ones are definitely a little bit more muted. I still want to do something fun, but we'll see. I don't know where I'm going with this yet. One moment. Nail art time. We're gonna start out with my favorite thing to do before we do nail art, which is, that's right, a matte top coat. I wonder if they have matte base coats. I'll look that up. That is such a weird angle. I shouldn't do that. I keep catching something out of my eye and I'm freaking out for a second, but it's just the disco ball. I'm just not used to having things so close to me in here. Keep seeing a string and thinking it's like a spider or something. All right, and then you guys know the lamp struggles. The one I was using, the cord wasn't long enough. Then the other one, it beeped, which I don't like. So I got this one out now, and it feels very fancy. I don't know. Just like nice little buttons, and the screen is nice. All right, now we have, looking nails, which, did I forget a couple places? That top coat is so old, and I've used it like pretty much entirely, so it's hard to get any product out at this point. I'm at the point in the night where it starts to get a little weird. It's like 1 or something, I don't know. All right, I'm just gonna kind of jump into it. I'm going to start by doing like a little swirl. I've really been liking like the swirl designs. I was kind of thinking about having a swirl design on this one where a couple of the colors like cut into the other one. I've done something like that before, I think. There we go. Lots of flash curing today. Just gonna be like, how? So obviously these aren't like the most opaque gels in the world. So when I am using them for nail art, they're gonna be a little bit transparent. You're gonna see a little bit of the background. If you want to stop that, you can just use a white before you put this on. You can like map out where you want whatever design you're gonna use and then do that in white and then do this on top. I personally don't really care for this design. I kind of feel like all of the colors work together on top of each other or not. So I'm gonna leave it like this. Then I'm gonna do a little bit of, we'll do that pink. I love this pink. Using these gels for nail art would also be really cool if you put it on like a regular base also, because you'd have just the design that like lights up with the reflection and then a like a non-reflective base. The nail art would like really pop. So this is the start of like the swirl. I'm just kind of like freestyling it. Is that what we call that? Because like, I don't know, I just like love like that. It's like a simple design, but it's so cute. I might go back and do more to that one, I might not, but let's move on. I want to do a flower now. I think I'm going to do like a half. Yeah, like a nice big half one. Here we are, that's my half circle. While we're doing this, I just want to talk about the photo shoot for a little bit because this was the first time I had ever done a photo shoot ever. I don't think I've ever really had anyone else like take my picture like that. And I was super nervous because this was the first time with like an actual like professional photographer. I was like, damn, they work with like, you know, models and everything all day long and I am no model. But the company that did all the campaign photos and some of the clips that you guys saw from the meet and greet, and then also if you were at the meet and greet, they had like this like cool 360 camera thing. I want to give a huge shout out to them. It's Metascript Media. They were amazing. I thought the shoot was so much fun when I was really nervous going into it, thinking like, I don't know how to pose, I don't know how to do this, but everyone was so helpful and I didn't feel like I was like judged for not knowing like what to do. It was just like a really good experience and the photos came out amazing, as you guys can see. Is that petal too big? No, I'm gonna leave it. It's fine. I don't know how many more petals I can fit on this one. One seems to be the answer. I actually love how this flower turned out. I feel like it's so cute. Let's just move on to more squiggles or waves. Waves? Waves. For the waves, I have upgraded to using a pretty long brush. Believe it or not, it is actually so much easier to do long lines or like these types of waves with a really long brush. Like, look how long this thing is. Like, it says 20 millimeters. What the heck? It's just something about it makes it so much easier to just do like long, smooth lines, you know? So I think I'm sticking with like the swirls and the flowers, so I'm just going to speed up through the rest of the decorating since you guys have pretty much seen the main part. And here's what I came up with, some swirls and the flowers, kind of similar to what is on the other hand, but I love it still. Now it's time for the top coat. I feel like I'm super excited to see these come to life. I feel like the background just looks dull. It needs that little bit of sparkle. So pretty. So much better. Don't worry, of course, for the end shots, we're gonna do the classic backyard ones, but also flash ones in the dark so we can really see it. Also, I'm gonna show you guys how they look underneath the LED light, like this certain color LED light. The gels like glow and it looks really cool. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to a party and had some sort of gel on your nails that glows in the LED. A black light, that's usually what's like at a party that makes like stuff glow. And final cure. Ooh, they're so pretty and shiny and they're gonna look so cool under the flash. But I'll save all that for the end shots. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys love this collection as much as I do. Thank you to everyone who came to my meet and greet. It was really, truly very special and I just appreciate you all. And you know, I want to extend that to literally just all of you because stuff like this, meet and greets representing a collection, wouldn't happen without you guys. So again, thank you guys so much. Please make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. It helps me out a lot and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Makartt, for sort of like partnering with me on this. It's been super fun. The photo shoot was so fun and I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye!
Overflow. I don't really know what's on, 'cause I'm a restless soul.